Hi, everybody. Welcome to the swamp. Big warm welcome to Lori from the Way of Positive Change. I've been a big fan of hers for several years now, since I first discovered this miraculous community, and I've been watching her ever since. So I'm quite excited to have her on
Well,
as
thank
my
you.
guest today, and trying not to fangirl on you. I know I did that to Sheila the first time she came on. So it was like, okay, I'm tripping out here. Um, uh, so, Lori, tell us a little about yourself for those that maybe haven't seen you, what you do, how you do, how long you've been doing it, that kind of stuff.
All right. I started out when I did a video with Kim Carriott on her channel yesterday that has quite a bit of information about how I started out. Dreams when I was a kid, and then no one could explain it to me, and I would see bits and pieces of the future, and so I just went to metaphysical bookstore as soon as I could drive to find out why this, to read about some things. So anyway, I just started reading more in that bookstore, and picked up different modalities, and ended up managing that bookstore and reading there years later.
Oh,
And
cool.
I love what I do. I love to help people. I especially like to really help people understand how they're seen by the people that they have relationships with, and how to work through their issues. And I read in the 12th house astrological spread, so it shows me every department of their life, from finances to relationships to their health to their career to their money and investments. And so I'm able to look forward for the next 12 months, no matter what month it is, on what their angels want them to. Yeah. So, and I like to have people record their reading. I think it's very important. I used to use cassettes a long time ago, and then I used to use CDs. I used to burn CDs for people, but now everyone can use their cell phone to record their readings. And it's very important to record your reading, because that's our report card, right?
Exactly.
That's how we get repeat business a year later.
I do the same thing. When I do a reading for someone, I record it, and then I send them the recording.
Well, I don't record anymore.
Well,
they need to record it on their end.
Yes. Okay. Well, I record it because a lot of them get kind of lost if you mention it. They don't know what to do. And so I'll just do the reading through StreamYard as just a private recording.
Video, yeah.
And then I'll send it to them, and then I delete my copy. I'm like, once you get it, you're the only one that has it. It's not mine to keep. It's yours.
That's very nice.
Do with it.
Yeah.
You can do with it whatever you want. You can share it. You can keep it just to yourself. But I always suggest, rewatch it. Give it a couple of weeks, couple of months, watch it again.
Yeah, 4, 6, 8, 10 months down the road, you want to watch it again. Listen to it again. I think phone is fine. The volume that I'm sure you do your share of readings too, but I can't record for everyone. It would just be
right. I'm still small enough that I can kind of get away with that.
That's very sweet.
And I'm not quite that big yet. And then I still work full time, a regular full time job as well. So I pull 10 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, and then half a day on Friday. So I'm pretty much kind of limited to either an evening or the weekend. In the beginning, I did just weekends only because I wasn't sure if I could work it into doing nighttime. And then I was invited to be part of Sisters of the Mystical Tarot. We do every Wednesday night. And it's a stretch. I usually am running in from the office literally minutes before it's showtime because it's so close to when I get off and when we start. But excuse me. But after a few minutes or after a few episodes, a few weeks that we did, I realized, okay, this is doable if I schedule my time a little bit differently. that's not my show per se. So the show host is the one, we take turns hosting, but it's already been set up by Val and Marina. So it's based on their time schedule. And I just adjust for that. But now I do other things that are, there's every other Thursday night I do with Golden Girls Coffee Clatch, where we've all taken on one of the characters of the Golden Girls. And
I saw that on your page.
Yeah, we do political readings. That's a lot of fun. I'm Blanche, by the way. So I'm the Southerner. I said, okay, I get to cop to that one. And just a few other things. I've started doing more evening time. Like today on a Monday in the middle of the day. That's a rarity for me. I'm off 2 days from Mardi Gras. Everything's closed here. So Monday and Tuesdays, freebie day for me. So but yeah, it's just growing a little at a time. I'm working on hitting 2,000 subscribers. Only a couple of hundred away from that. So I'm hoping to hit that before summer comes in. And I'm just taking it one day at a time. I'm not pushing. I'm not rushing. I'm not like, I have to get this many people in this many days. I don't worry about it. Half the time, I don't even look at what my numbers are. I don't think about it. One of my student workers at work, she keeps up for me. She'll come in every Monday to give me a rundown. Oh, you're up to this number, and you had this, and you had that. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And she's a sweetie. I work at a university, by the way. So I have student workers that work in my office for me. And most of the students think it's the coolest thing ever that Miss Sherry has a YouTube channel. And so it could be an icebreaker with newer students. So, well, I guess let's get going here because we've only got an hour. I don't want to infringe on your time any more than that. If y'all have a question, please feel free to put it in the chat. Put it in all caps so that I don't miss it. And we will be glad to Teresa says she loves that you give tips.
Thank you, Teresa.
And yeah, I just love the way Lori reads altogether.
Thank you.
I always learn something when I watch you. So it's either a different way to look at the card or a different way to put a couple of cards together. Because a lot of it I'm still learning myself. I'm still figuring it all out. Because up until 2020, I had never held a tarot deck.
I saw that on your channel. Yeah.
And
that's fascinating. Yeah. I've been reading since I started doing public readings in 1990.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, you're
it's been a little
you know your stuff. And I'm in love with your giant amethyst geode that you keep behind you on the floor.
Those are from my store. They were in my healing room because I do healing work as well. And I had several healers, and there was one room specifically dedicated to healing. So,
oh, that's cool. And I used to have one not that big, but similar. It was probably a good foot high, pretty good size.
Very sweet.
And I had when I was a kid. I had gone with my grandparents. We were going from Southeast Texas up to Oklahoma to visit family. And we stopped at some little place en route, and they had like big giant rocks and geodes and stuff that back then were a dime a dozen. They were so cheap. And I remember my grandfather bought me a great big purple one. I just wanted it because it was purple, and I didn't know what stone it was. And I had it for years, and then I don't know, somewhere along the line, it disappeared. So I don't know what happened to it. Either somebody filched it during the move at some point or another, or it just got lost in the shuffle. And it happens. But I have a few smaller stones that I keep around me. trying to learn a little bit about those as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
I teach a little bit about crystals as well. I'm going to be opening up memberships. My goal was to open this month as well, but I'm also going to start TikTok, so I'm trying to get in a lot at the same time. But I think I really want to help people with crystals and
oh, that's good.
a lot of information about connecting with their guides. And yesterday's, how to do manifesting and a lot of different techniques. And I think Teresa Levine asked, what do you do for healing work? And I started with Reiki. I started, just learning with that. I became a Reiki, master teacher level. So I taught a lot of different students. Then I took on my own approach with chakra balancing and using my pendulum over the person's body to see which area in particular that they were. I mean, of course, you could feel with heat with your hands, but
Right.
then I would use my pendulum to reverse the energy in any area where they were closed or they were storing resentment, things like that. So
I never thought of doing that.
Did a lot of different healing techniques, working on every area.
I'm not taking any Reiki classes. I want to. I just haven't had the time yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've had friends and stuff that have stopped by that I just pick up right away. Something's hurting or something is not right. And, I'll ask them, can I just do a little bit of energy healing on you? And they usually say, yeah, go for it. And so far they feel a little better when I get through. So I'm like, okay,
yeah, well, that's very nice.
I'm assuming I'm doing it right then.
Yeah, and there isn't enough touch in our world, and a lot of times just the very simple act of laying your hands on someone with your intention is a healing technique in and of itself.
Right. Yeah.
Does anyone have, I don't know how many viewers we have, does anyone have a reading question?
13 right now.
Oh, okay. Does anyone have a reading question? Patricia Franzino or anyone have a question about anything?
I don't see any. Teresa made a comment about you posting questions on the channels. And
she posts my questions, yeah.
Yeah.
And she is a moderator for several people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's one of mine as well. So, I mean, a lot of the mods and whatnot, I became a mod on a lot of channels. So,
right.
When I finally started doing my channel, it's like as I saw familiar names, and I knew they modded on other channels, I asked them, "You want to be a mod?" And so they could mod on my channel as well. Pardon me, my eyes are.
That's okay.
My eyes are giving me fits today. I don't have anything per se. Usually I just go by what they put in, what they ask in chat. Everybody seems to be kind of quiet this morning.
We could ask, well, it's early for a lot of people, and it was big Super Bowl night last night.
Yeah.
But we could do ask our guides and angels what they want us to know most for the second half of February, if you want to do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was just looking through all my notes I have on my desk to see if I had anything that would be.
Sure. Patricia just threw out a question. Yeah, because she is so awesome.
And I know I love Patricia. She's sweet. Okay, will Kate and William be crowned queen and king in the future? Yes. I definitely see, I've seen him as king whenever I've had.
Yeah. Kate is really not doing well with her health at all. So that's very unbalanced, and I don't think that she's okay. I believe, I haven't done one recently to see if she's going to pull out of this well, but her life is changing. Do you want to ask about joyful journey? Said, oh well, you're not even going to read. You're just saying that William and Kate will be crowned, correct?
I mean, we can go ahead and do a read, and we can hold off on.
Well, you just said yes.
On joyful, but I've seen them crowned.
Okay.
I've seen a coronation for him. And I've always felt, even before he married Kate, I've always seen him as king.
Okay.
I just never quite saw him being as young as he is right now as king. He was older. So I don't, I guess it's going to depend on King Charles.
Yeah, because he's already been pulled in quite a bit.
And, but, I mean, I've definitely seen, and then once he married Catherine, it was like, she just seemed to fit right in with that. And I see good things for them. I'm really hoping he and Harry can heal the rift between them. That's difficult to deal with anything when you're on outs like that with a sibling, especially one that you were close to growing up. So, and I'm sure it's affecting both of them in their, in their inner beings, having that there. But I would love to see them be able to heal their rift.
Yeah, that would be great. Got a couple questions. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We got joyful journey, a message regarding a good job. Okay.
So she's they're looking for a good job. Joyful journey.
Joyful journey.
Guides and angels.
Are you looking for a job, or are you looking to change a job? Are you just a little extra info there to kind of help us out? She's unemployed at the moment. Okay.
The first message I got for you, joyful journey, is that you're going to have to actually go into a building to get information about where to go or apply. There's an actual physical 4-wall structure that you're going to need to go into, and you're going to have to check other places. Check buildings. Places that are physical places, and you may have a feeling of meh about any job. Your guides and angels are trying to help you find something, and you're not seeing it. Or you're not seeing it as actually being a great opportunity because you've got the 4 of Cups here, which is very difficult to get when you're asking for something, because they're like, there's opportunity. You're not seeing it, or you think it comes in a red box and it's coming in a blue box, and you don't like blue. So that's a little tough. You're having a hard time seeing, and you got to really make a giant commitment to this. And also, you have a very good, you're already skilled and talented. Your guides and angels are saying, your God gifts, talents, and skills are right there. And people say, oh, you're so good at this, but that maybe that's boring to you and you don't want to do that, but you might need to do that for a little bit. Got to make a decision. And keep learning. There's actually something here that you're going to learn, and then you're going to teach or train. So that's what I'm getting. And I'm also getting the time of Taurus and Gemini. So April, May is what I'm going to go with. End of April, May. What have you got, Sherry?
Well, the first thing I got was the 6 of Wands. So I'm seeing that as she's sitting on a horse riding in. So I feel like you're going to be successful in what you in looking, but I definitely got a tingle when Lori said you need to go into a physical building to go find out about it. That rang very true for me. Because then it was followed by the King of Cups, which is you're going to be noticed. So when you go into this building to go and find out about jobs or put in an application, somebody's going to notice you there. Somebody that may be the one who's in charge of deciding who gets interviewed and who doesn't. And depending on the job can depend on the type of interview process that you go through. I know I've had jobs in the past where you walked in the door and you're hired and you start right then. And I've had other jobs where you go back for multiple interviews before they pick, before they make a final decision. And then the last thing I got was the 8 of Pentacles. And that's just telling me success. So you're going to find something. I got a 6 and an 8. So I would say between maybe 6 to 8 weeks, 6 to 8 months. Just sort of will depend on.
That's a long time from now.
Yeah, 6 to 8 months is a long time. I prefer thinking it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. That's better. But it's
I also feel that Joyful Journey is going to need to cut free from a distractive person. I think that's going to be really important. You can't really focus on getting where you need to be when you've got some sort of distraction going on. Sorry.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Okay. Next up, we've got Teresa, who wants to know, how do you release resentment from childhood trauma?
Well, I mean, it's very important that you go, like we were talking about, when you hold resentment in one of your chakras, like your solar plexus is where you usually hang on to something like that. So getting someone to help you facilitate that healing and chakra balancing or Reiki is going to be very, very helpful. So I would start there. And then second, I would focus on, yesterday, Kim and I were talking a lot about gratitude and how to stay present.
Yeah.
That the past can be very trauma filled, and there's everyone that's had a trauma, but that doesn't have anything to do with what we're creating today. It's true that it happened, so folks, staying present is really helpful. And then just if you're really big and you can really go for it, forgiving the person because they're stupid and they didn't, you're forgiving them for yourself, for your own release.
Right.
And just realize that they're stupid, they're dumb, they're uneducated in the ways of what was the right thing to do. So it has to,
I, as someone who's had to do a lot of healing from childhood traumas, it can be difficult to do, but I think the first step, I know it was for me, was to actually face it face to face, was to do some really deep kind of shadow work, meditation work, and realize what that trauma was, and then meet it face to face and say, okay, you don't have control over my life anymore. That was then, this is now. That goes right in line with what Lori was saying about be in the present moment. That's very important. You can't change the past. What happened has happened. And the future hasn't been decided yet, because it's going to depend on what you do in the present, in the here and now. And I recently had an Akashic reading from Val, Dragonfly Crystals, and we discovered some old hurts in the process of going through the reading that I didn't even realize were still there until we started working on some stuff, and they just came bubbling up. And so we had to kind of stop and take a break for a minute and then do some releasing work of getting rid of that. And it made a big difference. I mean, after the reading was over with, I felt lighter because I released things that I didn't realize I was still hauling around. Think of it like a rock tied around your leg. You're still trying to get through the day and you're still hauling that around with you. Well, cut the rope. You don't need to haul that with you anymore. So it's very important to what you do now is going to determine where you go forward in the future. And so your steps now are important as to if you go far when you go forward or if you're still stunted in your movement, if you understand what I mean. It kind of goes, you have to let it out. You just have to let it go. Like that's the biggest thing that I get from it is you just have to meet it face to face and then let it go and stay in the present. Okay, next we have Helen or Helene. I don't know which way you say that. I'm sorry. Will the media ever stop giving Trump a pass? Not as long as they're making money. Sorry, that's off the cuff. Let me see here.
Will the media ever stop giving Trump a pass? Because of his mental. I mean, they will because it becomes more obvious and his health is in decline. He's going to be making less appearances. The time amount that he is speaking is going to start shrinking. That's what people are going to notice first.
Yeah.
Because he's just going to make stuff up. And they're doing it. It isn't going to be until it's going to be months from now, maybe summer. But more people will start to look at it. Actually, I think the change will happen in spring. I'm going to say spring, but it's absolutely yes. They will stop. Yeah.
Yeah. The more I watch, the more everyone's going to start picking up on the fact that he's worse than a drunken sailor. I mean, you can get some pretty ugly things to come out of somebody who's a drunk, but with him, it's not because he's drinking or anything like that. It's just he's mentally declining, and it's becoming more and more obvious. As what's happening sprouts up more and more, I think it's going to get harder and harder for the press to keep ignoring the condition he's in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can only play that out so far.
And he's going to worsen, unfortunately for him. And we don't wish ill will towards anyone, but it will worsen.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, do I think he would make a good president? Oh, hell no. Pardon my language, but no. But he needs help, and his family is responsible for making sure he gets that help, and they're not interested in doing that. It's all his whole family. They're all like, "What about me? What do I get?" And that's all
they're all wrecked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all as messed up as
they're all wounded. You can't. Any of the children are wounded.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sad when you think about it. I mean, all the opportunities he's had, the money he's had, the good he could have done for people.
There's a reason for his existence. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next up, we've got Sylvia, Colorful Foresight.
Will my connection with Tan Who is
Who's
Tan?
Tan?
Is Tan a person? Is that the wrong name?
I don't know who Tan is. I'm looking to see if she put anything.
Tan is a person. Okay. Will color for full foresights? What did you call? Did you say Sylvia?
Sylvia is her name. Yeah.
Will Sylvia and Tan heal their relationship?
Helene. Okay, it's French.
This will take patience and Sylvia, this will take patience and perseverance. You're not both facing each other. This is really difficult. But it'll reboot. You know, you guys have been through some stuff in the past life. Your prayers are heard. Keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. When there's some sort of shift or change with a move for Tan or some other sort of, if it's not a physical move, it's another little beginning of something that starts up for Tan. And then there's victory, and there will actually be another person. There will be another male. He comes up as the King of Pentacles. So dark-haired person that will help facilitate this, but it'll get better. It just seems like it takes forever when the patient, you know, the strength card is on its side. So it'll take some time. Patience, perseverance, endless patience and perseverance.
Absolutely. Well, I seem to be on a Pentacles bent today. I pulled the Eight of Pentacles again.
Wow.
Which, I mean, when it comes to the emotional side, love side, you're wanting it to develop into a more mature love. It's not just hot and bothered after each other, but somebody that you're a companion with, someone that you can share your interest with, that they can share their interest with you. That's what makes for strong relationships. Your friends as well as lovers, so to speak. Followed by the Six of Pentacles, which kind of is what's leading me in that direction with it, because that's talking about you're sharing the burden together. So whatever may have happened that kind of interrupted that flow, I think is still there. It's just going to take some time to heal the rift and put it all together, because it ends with the Knight of Wands. And that's just telling me that it's going forward. It's going to be okay, but it's going to take some time and it's going to take some work. It's not going to happen overnight. And I hope that helps you, Sylvia. Okay, next up I've got K Talks. Well, that's a new name. Hi and welcome. A spiritual advice about dealing with anxiety. She continued that with, she had to leave a full-time job due to mental health from a miscarriage. That's hard. Just
But so for the person that was asking about anxiety, I would absolutely carry, I would wear black tourmaline, like a 8mm bead black tourmaline bracelet, you know, and I would carry black tourmaline on me. It just helps. It's help. And an amethyst in your pocket too. It's very, very helpful to balance things out. And so this question is about trying to do self-care, but how do I stop worrying about a full-time gig coming in? How do you feel about doing gratitude? I mean, if you want more things to come in, it's very helpful to give gratitude for what you've already received. So give thanks while you're recuperating. Write out your list for gratitude. I'm so very grateful for this corporation, for giving me a job when I was whatever age, and for every paycheck I've ever received from this corporation. I'm so very grateful for this person that, you know, named Ed, that gave me a job when I was this, or, you know. So the more you can't be worried and grateful at the same time. So if you do the gratitude list, if you do like 20 things, it lifts you up out of that. And then you're putting it out there. You're asking your guides and angels to help you with this. You're doing your MBOs, and you're putting it out in quantum physics, and it goes out in a wave of energy.
Yeah. And you have to allow yourself time to grieve. You've had a miscarriage. That's a loss. That's not, you know, a lot of people, they don't realize the internal emotional trauma that someone goes through.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. I was focusing on the end part of her question. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt, and the reason why I picked up on that aspect is many, many years ago, when I was probably 14 or 15, a neighbor lady that lived across the street from us, a young couple, she had like 7, 8 miscarriages in a row and kept trying to have a baby. And she would get 3, 4, 5 months into it and she would lose it. It was something chemical, biological in her body that just wasn't allowing the pregnancies to go through. And it was at my age, I didn't understand, well, why do you keep trying to have a baby if you just keep losing them? I didn't understand the desire on her part to become a mother. And the fact that with each loss, it just amplified that grief more and more and more. And she put herself into this vicious cycle of just continuing that grief, never letting it go. And it wasn't until years later when I ran into an old friend that lived in the neighborhood at the time. And for whatever reason, she came up in the conversation and she was like, I wonder whatever happened to her. And I was like, I wonder if she ever had children, or did she just keep trying? You know, but it made me stop and think about it, because at that point I was a mom, and I know how exciting it was when I got pregnant, when I had my son, because we had been told we could not have children. And so our son was a complete surprise to us. We were not expecting him to show up. And he's my miracle baby. So I know how I felt when everything went through. And I can remember how she was with each progressive loss. And I think as far as emotionally and mentally, it's realizing that you're grieving and you need to just let that work its way out of your system. And not everybody on a job is going to understand that. Things are very volatile right now across the country when it comes to miscarriages or abortions or anything along those lines, where a lot of people are wanting to confuse the two, that a miscarriage is of the same bent as going and having an abortion done for whatever reason. And it's not. It's not the same thing. It doesn't evoke the same kind of response within you. I mean, it may be best for you to check with, see if there's a local
support group.
Yeah.
Other moms, because there's really you can't, once you've lost a child, there isn't, for someone that hasn't lost one, they're not going to be able to say the right thing to you. And people say, you know, humans say stupid things. So you really need to gather together with somebody else that's actually lost a baby, and your baby's in the light. And it's, you know, we're not in the light here. I'm not going to even go into my own experience. But don't beat yourself up because you're not, there's no such thing as getting over the loss of your child. There's no
No.
such thing as that.
No.
So everyone has traumatic experiences. But you focus on your healing. If you want to set aside certain days to visit this or visit with a person that has gone through this, that can be helpful. And do your gratitude list. Every day. If you start to feel sad, start with, you have the ability to walk over to your tap to your sink and turn the sink on. Start with the easy stuff, and it'll pull you out. But don't reach out to people that haven't, or don't even expect human beings that haven't lost a child to understand what to say to you, because they don't know what to say. They're not going to know what to say.
And every loss is different. Every person reacts differently. My husband died 22 years ago now. Do I still miss him? Absolutely. Do I still have moments when just the thought of something sneaks up on me and it's like a sucker punch to the gut? Oh yeah. But overall, it's happy memories that I have now. But it took a long time to work through all of that grief that I felt, helping my son work through his grief from losing his dad. And it's a slow stepping. It's not going to happen overnight. Don't rush yourself. Don't punish yourself. Lori's absolutely right. Let the grieving take place on its own schedule. Shameless plug here. I started a new show. It's going to run 2 Sundays a month, starting next month, with a gentleman named Isaac. He is a professional counselor. It's called Mastering Mental Wellness. And part of our goal is to help people deal with anxiety, traumas, the things, but on a more kind of a very light level, because online you have to be careful what you say and how you say it, because neither one of us want to get sued. But at the same time, we're also going to make a point of having options for people to follow through if they need more intensive help than the suggestions we might give. We'll be on again. Is it this Sunday? I think it's not this Sunday. Next Sunday we'll be on again. So if you remember, pop in and ask your question again. Isaac might have, from a professional counselor's point of view, he might have some tips or know some areas that you might want to look into that would help you deal with this. That's the whole goal of the show that we're going to do, is just to offer a little bit of help to people who need more than just what we can do online, with a reading or whatnot. It may require more intensive Reiki healing, or it might, seeing a professional counselor, a support group. But don't beat yourself up over it. It takes time. It does take time. Let's see. Okay, next up, we've got Jabby.
Hi, Jabby.
Oh, it's one of yours. I was like, I've not seen that name before. Hello. Hello and welcome. Yeah, it can enhance. I have dowsing rods. I've not been able to figure out how to make them work yet, but I've got my pendulums out. I've got a variety of pendulums, depending on what kind of question I'm being asked as to which stone I use. I've got one that's a tiger's eye, one that's just a crystal, one that's rose quartz, one that's copper. It just depends. but yeah, they can definitely, you have to
program them.
I feel like you have to believe in them working in order for them to work.
And you have to cleanse them and program them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. And which I do every month. Full moon, all my stuff like that sits out on the patio on a little tray, and I do a little cleansing ceremony with it, and just to keep them charged up and keep them cleared out. And then when I use them, I do a mini cleanse after the reading so that none of it lingers. And different people do different things. So
yeah, you can use different modalities for sure. And a pendulum you can use more closely in association with your body and your reading over your table. The dowsing rods you may want to, go 6 feet back if you want to use those, depending on how large they are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I have a dowsing rod set that's like maybe 6 inches long from handle to tip. So, they're not that, but I'm not. They just seem to go wild with me.
Yeah,
So
and ask each one. I would have people in the store. I would have people go up and ask, pick up one of the pendulums and say, "Show me a yes," and then if it went, north and south, then you could pick up and then ask that particular pendulum, "Are you a good pendulum to work with me? Are you a good energy to work with me?" And then if it gives you a yes, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So you can get creative with it, but yeah, it's fun to use both.
Yeah. It's the same with cards. I've bought decks of cards, oracle cards and stuff that I thought looked fantastic. And then when I got them, they just did not resonate with me. I couldn't get anything off of them. It wasn't a fit. And I've turned around and given them away to somebody else that they do resonate with. And so, you have to be willing to work with what feels right. And now Kay asked a continuation kind of on all of her questions we were discussing. Could we pull any cards on the career front?
Okay.
Oh, sure. We can do that. I think Lori and I start talking and we forget.
How's Kay gonna do with on the job front?
Absolutely.
Well, is it okay if I go, Sherry?
Yes, ma'am. Go,
okay.
Go right on
the
ahead.
first indication here is that you have plenty of the smarts. You've got the tools, the smarts, to move forward in any endeavor at this time. You've already got what you need to have. I mean, I know you're continuing with education and stuff, but you already have. And I have next with the 6 of Cups, which is important for you to get this information out to everyone that you know. This means you probably already have come across the person who has the wherewithal to help you, been introduced to them, come across them, reach into those archives of all of the people that you know that work in and around or know somebody that knows somebody. Tell everybody what you're looking for. And you got to focus on it. You could have distractions going on too. You have what it takes to get the job, and some people. You're just gonna. This is very much like the reading we did for the other person. Sometimes there's just so much going on that we've just got to clear out the distractions in order to focus. When you want something bad enough, you'll do it.
Absolutely.
But right now you're distracted.
Yeah. First thing I pulled was the Lovers, which I feel goes along with what Lori was saying about you already know somebody that's going to help you with this. So you got to work on your collaborations. Let people know what you're looking for, why you're looking for, let it out there what it is that you're wanting to do, so that other people, as they run across stuff, they can give you, hey, so and so's hiring, they're looking for somebody to fill this kind of position that might be right up your alley, type of thing. So it's important to network and work with other people on it. And then I pull the Knight of Pentacles. Here we go with Pentacles again. I'm really getting a lot of Pentacles today. And it's just saying that you're going to be successful in it. You just have to just be willing to get out there, let people know what you're looking for, put in applications, go do interviews, whatever you need to do. And it ended with the World, which is showing success. So you're going to be successful at it. You just got to give yourself a little bit of time to get there and be willing to do the front work to get you where you need to be.
Nice. Very sweet. I also wanted to address that, Kay, and the 10 of Wands is here. When you say you've got 2 part-time jobs and freelance, and so you yourself have picked up too many wands. That is a distraction from where you need or where you want to go. If you just want to do one thing and do it very well, what your guides and angels are saying, that's who you are. So getting rid of the distractions, focus, and get rid of some of the busy work, and focus in on that main goal, because you just got too much going on.
Absolutely. So I hope that helps, Kay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Karen asked, where do we get our pendulums from? You can make your own.
You can
Order
make
them
your
from
own
Amazon, Etsy.
Yeah, please support your local
Yeah,
artists. Yeah, go to craft fairs, go to local new age shop, your local merchant, because I was one for so long, and I managed metaphysical stores. So it's really important to support your local person.
absolutely.
Try that, and then that's a good way to be able to feel them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Local farmers markets. A lot of times farmers markets, they will have little shops set up, people selling their crafts that they make. I mean, you can get some phenomenal stuff just walking up and down, and looking at all the craft stuff, craft shows, local. I mean, I've been back home in Louisiana now since 2012, and I just found out, like within the last 6 months, that we had a spiritual store here in town. I knew we had Christian bookstores and Catholic bookstores. This wasn't what I was looking for. I had no clue that we had a spiritual store. It was just a little bitty, self-run, hole in the wall, back up in the back of some little strip mall area. I probably walked by it a gazillion times and never noticed it. And it wasn't until somebody else asked me, well, have you gone over there? And I'm like, I don't know where that's at. And come to find out, it's literally blocks away from where I work. And I go by it all the time. I just never noticed it.
Yeah.
And now that I've found it, I go over there all the time now, and then a couple of months ago, I discovered we have a new rock shop crystal shop here in town, on the other side of town, that I wasn't even aware had opened up. And I think they've been there about a year or so. And I just wasn't on my radar at all. And But yeah, definitely try your local artisans first, your craft shows, your farmers markets, all that kind of stuff. Look at, Google it. Any crystal or rock stores nearby, or
Metaphysical New Age shops, crystal stores.
Yeah, anything like that. And for that matter, you can make your own. It's
Mhm.
there are a lot
You
of
can
people
use your own necklace.
yeah,
Mhm.
and there's all kinds. I mean, I've gotten pendulums. I've gotten some from Amazon. I've gotten some that I bought locally. I've got one that somebody gave me that so just gotta kind of look around for it. Um, if you run into any local artist, ask them what would they charge to make you one if you don't want to make it yourself. So, um, and let's see. Okay, she had another question. She wanted to know how we both found our gift, or how do we know that we had one?
Well, everyone is psychic. It's
Yeah,
just about learning how to use it. I always tell people, start paying attention to your dreams. Focus on dream recall, and people will tell me, I don't dream. I'm like, yes, you do. You just have busy mind in the morning. First, work with your angels. Ask
yeah,
them to help you remember your dreams. Write it down as soon as you get up. Or actually, everyone has a recorder on their phone now, so you can just speak into your phone.
yeah,
And then pick up different modalities and try them out. See which one you feel comfortable with.
yeah.
And then keep work. It's like any other muscle. Your right brain is like any other muscle. You keep working it.
Absolutely. I as I put in my about page, I'm a hereditary psychic. All women in our family have some form of psychic ability.
Mm-hmm. Everyone is like,
Everybody is a little different. That was obvious to other people. Most people have it and they don't even realize it.
right.
But I, like I've shared before, I kept mine locked in the closet for decades because I didn't want to acknowledge that it existed and that it was there. And when I finally cracked that door open to see was it still there, wow, it like ran me over like a bulldozer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here. So and it's just a matter of just getting in touch with what feels right for you. Meditation, journaling. I'm big on journaling. That can help you write a little something every day. Do gratitude lists like Lori was talking about earlier. um and then 6 months, go back and read what you've written up to that point. You would be amazed at what you know and don't realize you know.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
people that are gifted, like you, that aren't even looking to increase their psychic ability or working it, can be run over like that, where it just hits, where it's stronger in your
yeah,
genes, where it just starts to, filter into your mind. You're like, wow, where did that come from? Which apparently is what happened to you and your ancestors.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, just one day at a time. You just be willing to open yourself up to what may happen, and let the rest work its way out. Um, Karen had another question about the pendulums. Is there anything special to look for?
I think it's important for you to go feel them.
Yeah,
If you want to take your own necklace that you have, uh, it doesn't have to. I mean, wood is a good conduit.
absolutely.
So it's really about how you feel. Do you feel a good, positive feeling when you hold it or not? That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, it's. I've literally walked down an aisle that had pendulums, and
Mhm.
the minute I passed it, starts moving. It gets my attention. You know, it's like it's calling me up. You're mine. Come back. And you know, not everybody has that happen.
Nope.
Some people just buy them online or whatever they see that they like.
I don't recommend that for the first time.
Yeah, no, when it's your very first one,
Yeah.
I would recommend going somewhere or making one yourself.
Yeah.
You know, do you have a favorite necklace with a pendant on it?
Mm-hmm.
That will work. It doesn't have to be a certain kind of crystal. It doesn't have to have a point on the end. It doesn't have to, you know, just something on a chain that's kind of weighted that will move if you just hold it. You know, whenever I hold up a pendulum, some people hold it up free-handed. I usually put my elbow on my fist on the table so that my arm does not move at all. And then I use my pendulum. When you find one that seems to resonate with you, the first thing you want to do after you cleanse it is to set it. You know, what direction is going to be a yes? What direction is going to be a no? What are you going to do if there's not a clear answer? It will let you know what direction it's going to move in.
Programming
that helps.
Like,
yeah, absolutely. Well, Lori, it is an hour. I do not want to infringe upon your time. I don't know if you're doing another show today or not. I know you tend to do.
I have readings scheduled because I read every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to. I thank you so much for being my guest.
The pleasure is mine.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome back anytime, and just say the word. And thank you all for coming and asking your questions. Thank you for allowing us to go into your energy and read for you. I find that a very humbling experience that somebody will allow me in to get a reading for them.
Very nice.
It's just very humbling that you trust us to do that. And I'm very appreciative of that fact. Thank y'all for coming. And Lori's information is below in the description box, her web page, her YouTube channel, her support stuff, everything that she has on her channel. All that information is below in the description box.
Thank you so much.
Please make sure you go in and like, subscribe, and share. And subscribing is free, doesn't cost you anything. It helps us out.
It helps us tremendously.
It helps us tremendously. After the show's over, go in and leave a comment in the comment section. That boosts the algorithm, helps push our channels out so that when somebody is just searching on YouTube, you know, suddenly our channel will pop up, and which is kind of cool. But it only happens if there seems to be enough interest. I don't know. The algorithm is weird. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, your participation matters.
Yeah. It's
and then more people can find us, and we can help more people.
That's right.
Yeah,
absolutely. People are looking for us. They just don't know where to find us. So help them find us. And thank y'all. Everybody have a happy Mardi Gras for those of you that know what I'm talking about.
And Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is Wednesday.
Get your love on.
And for those of you of the Catholic bent, Lent starts on Wednesday as well. So, you know, it's if you're not Catholic, be a little mindful of those around you that might be, and try not to eat any chocolate in front of them. Most of them give up chocolate for Lent.
Hey, Ken, thanks for coming.
But thank y'all very much for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you, Lori, for being here, and we will see y'all again soon.